Like all good stories, it all started with a pub brainstorming session and a simple idea to create a site that compares flight prices for every single commercial airline in the world. From a team of 3 working from a spare room to a global economy of over 800, his passion remains the same, making travel search as easy as possible. Please welcome to the stage the founder of Skyscanner, Mr. Gareth Williams.
Okay, hello everyone. Let me get the clicker. So I'm just going to start off first with a quick exercise. Choose one of these 3 very quick pictures. This is to be co-founder with someone that wants to do this business, and you've got to choose which one. Number 1, myfuneral.com. So if you think about it, the internet makes the world a global place. You can reach every single person in the world, and every single person in the world is a customer, potential customer. So myfuneral.com, you don't need any more pitch than that, guaranteed success. Number 2, myheartbeat.com. You have 60 of them a minute. You wear a necklace and get an electrocardiogram traced to your app. It can send you most beautiful heartbeat of the day. You can share it on Twitter, Instagram. Bit vague on the monetization model, but something will come up. And that's what the internet provides for. Build a great product and work it out later. Third one, usedferrari.com. Bit more boring, but high-ticket item, does what the internet does best, puts buyers and sellers in different places together in one place. So stick your hands up if you're going for myfuneral.com. Okay, stick your hand up if you're going for myheartbeat.com. Few less. And if you're going for usedferrari.com. I thought that'd get none, but okay. So that was about 60, 30, 10% for those. So I'll give my input on that at the end. So I'd like to start off by giving a quote from 100 years ago, just over 100 years ago. It's beautiful in its predictive power. First Europe and then the globe will be linked by flight, and nations so knit together that they will grow to be next-door neighbors. What railways have done for nations, airways will do for the world. And that came to pass. And it's the expression of this grand vision, talked earlier by the SAP guy about defining the future as a group of and connected people. And it's come to pass right now. And I think it's an expression of another quote that I think is beauty in its crafting, which is, entrepreneurship may be defined as the pursuit of opportunity without regard to current resources. And I think it's revealed as a beautiful definition by swapping without regard to with complete regard to resources currently controlled. I would say if you swap that phrase, that's the very best definition of what management is. And I think within a company, you need this combination of entrepreneurship and management in the right balance. And pretty much that is illustrated by, I think, our Skyscanner's modest path from early days, starting with very basic website, 0 funding for the first 5 years. And we kept on trying to get the balance right between that entrepreneurship and that management of the chaos. And we kept on doing it as we went along, and so that each year we would modestly increase the number of people who chose to come back to us. And in fact, people who type into a browser or a well-known search engine, the number of people that did that went up each year until our initial toy, Clayton Christensen's toy solution, actually gets searched for more worldwide than certain big brands like Expedia, etc. And we keep doing what we're doing, working in our Sophia office, working on the bot interfaces, form-free and free-form, make what the next form of user interface will be. And the other things we've done is we've stayed curious. So we learn incessantly from best practice in California, but at a certain point we go, well, hang on, Chinese companies are nearly half of the world's largest internet companies. And so we learned, what does Tmall mean, part of Alibaba Group? Actually, it's about brands wanting a proper representation of themselves. And yet, if I pick a contemporary quote, a suitable one, a relevant one, a characteristic quote would be, if the Wright brothers were alive today, Wilbur would have to fire Orville to reduce costs. And when you compare it to that initial hopeful vision, that seems kind of depressing. And then we've had other events go on, and it seems to me that there's a fundamental issue of trust. And we're being packaged up as units of data. And right now, Wall Street brings about global crashes, is seen in a bad light by huge swathes of the population. I wonder whether we're heading in the same direction. Pretty much now, it's legal to package up people into packages of data and do what you want with it. And that means the users are being treated like these unfortunate chickens on the shelf. And so I'm really proud that when we set out our goal, probably about 8 years ago, we set out to be the most trusted and most used online travel brand. And that trust bit's important because the day of reckoning isn't close at the moment. Consumers don't really care about it. But history will look back and judge us for the decisions that we make along these lines. Now, coming back to the startup that you selected, there is no right answer, of course. They may be all viable businesses. It's all down to the execution. But here's how I'd analyze it. If you're a product person, if you care about building the product, then you should go for frequency above almost all else. I'd actually say that usedferrari.com is like 99% of all businesses, which is a business potentially with a website. And that's fine. But you're not getting the true economies of scale of the internet economy, frictionless product adoption, etc. In terms of myfuneral.com, that's more promising. But the problem is you're going to spend all your time acquiring customers. You've only got to acquire them once. There's not repeat usage. There's less word of mouth. You're going to become the very best customer acquisition company you can be in the world. And if that's what you want to do, that's where your interest lies, then that's a great business to do. But it hasn't got the frequency to really leverage what is brought about by the internet economy. And Larry Page calls it the toothbrush test. Do I use it at least twice a day? So myheartbeat.com, despite it being a ridiculous thing, hey, let's do electrocardiograms for everybody, it's got the chance of being something that ends up being important, meaningful to people on a very regular basis. And if you're a product person who wants to be able to choose to invest a spare $1 million on hiring more product designers and engineers rather than giving it to the great profit extraction engines of the world, the Googles and the Facebooks, etc., then you need to go for something that is frequent enough to get the word of mouth. So finish there, and if you'd like to stay in touch with what we do, details are on the screen. Thank you very much.